Here we are, back together again. It's time to talk about the issues at hand. You say what you say, say what you say, just say what you feel. It's a door, and we're gonna keep it real. It's an open conversation. It's an open conversation.
Presents open conversation. Well, you notice I plan on change a little bit. Tony went out on the field to take care of some business, but we are still here with our lovely guests, the housewives of Philadelphia. So we're gonna jump right back into what we were talking about. But a little flip on. Let's talk about domestic violence. Woo.
Domestic violence to me is a very sensitive issue.
Don't say nothing wrong.
If it's one thing that gets my vote as a man, it's domestic violence. Because growing up, I seen my mom get abused by men that she dated. And that's one thing that if you want to get my vote, hit on a woman. It is what it is.
Well, you as a Philadelphia police officer, how do you encounter domestic violence? And I say that because as a woman, you have emotions, and you watching another woman be abused. But tonight, on the show tonight, we're gonna watch a man get abused. If you say something wrong, he's panel on these women up here. How do you deal with the whole blah?
It is a sticky situation. About maybe, I want to say maybe about 5 years ago, they kind of changed the rules for when we go into someone's house as far as domestic violence. Prior to the 5 years, if you call on Martin, when I had disagreeing and fighting, I would come and say, okay, well, what you really should do is just, remove yourself. Well, we would have him. We always have the men remove themselves.
Why is that?
I think because if the woman was beating on the man is not going to say, she's beating on me.
Right.
And I don't know why men don't just say it. I mean, I guess it's their manhood, their pride, but it does happen. But we try to just separate them. Listen, what y'all need to do is sit down, talk, and advise them down to the courts and everything like that. The reason why they changed that is because the next day the woman be dead or the man to be dead. So what they said was, what we want y'all to do, what we want to put in the law is, if you go to someone's house and they're claiming abuse, if she has injuries, you lock him up. If he has injuries, you lock her up. Because, I mean,
if they both have injuries,
then they both need to go talk to the detectives, because we can't leave the house because of things that just happened, has happened before. But then, you have the women that say, well, no, he didn't mean to do it, and, we got to go through all that. So I basically just take the woman out, the man takes the man out, we hear their conversations, see what's going on, and then we'll just advise them to, why don't you take a walk over to buddy's house for a little while, till tomorrow. And then we'll tell her, or the same thing, if she's the aggressor, maybe you should go stay at your mom's or your girlfriend's or something, but we do advise you to go down to get the proper paperwork that's needed. So that if we come back, it's like you listen. Because a lot of them don't listen. They just say, okay. Hour or two later, we back here. Next day, we're back there. Sometimes it's been a situation where I go, hey Marvin, what happened again? You know what I mean? Because it's to that point. So, yeah.
So why is it that women, they don't want to leave?
Yeah, like why? Like, that's my question. Like, I've worked in the mental health field and worked with shelters, like doing volunteer work, and women stay and they don't leave out of fear, out of whatever. Like, I've personally never been a victim of domestic violence, but I don't know anyone here. I do know women that have, but why do y'all think that women stay in that situation?
So, having been a victim of domestic violence, I can say for me the reason why I stayed, one was the facade, if I'm saying it right, like to present to the world that we had this happy family and everything was good, when in fact it really wasn't. And then that comes from the old teaching, what goes on in the home, stay in the home, you don't tell nobody your business, what's going on in your household. And then also too was the fear that, and not really having a strong family connection, that when he would say to me, if you would tell your mom, I'm going to, not only will I kill you, I'm going to kill her. So not having, I can't say it enough, like not having that, them big brothers or the uncles to come to the rescue to really kind of enforce, or having a male figure to enforce that, it was something that it became more or less more physical abuse, mental abuse, than physical abuse. I got so wrapped up in thinking I was protecting my son or protecting others outside the community, not really realizing that the only thing I was doing was really causing more damage.
Let me ask you a question. Because you were a victim of abuse, what were some of the initial signs that took place before it got deep?
So it's funny you ask me that. I was sharing it with another young lady who had been in the same situation. My aunt told me years ago that the signs are the conversation, the verbal conversation is very aggressive. And then it moves from the verbal conversation being aggressive to him throwing furniture or hitting walls. And then after that, the next step is he's now throwing or hitting you. And that is exactly what it was. It went from us being able to just really sit down next to each other and have a conversation and disagree to, you know, I don't like what you're doing, and then him standing up and walking, and then next thing I know, he hit the wall, and then maybe about 30 days later, he knocked me down.
Some of the other signs are like if I've dated a guy and he's a little bit, you know, you're gonna be jealous. There's jealousy, but then there's that little extra stuff.
Yes.
And they're like, well, who you talking to? I'm done. I'm out. I'm good. Like, dude, it's a wrap, because it's already like I've seen too much of it. I pay attention to it. And you know what I'm saying? Like, there's little signs that you see in the beginning that are real subtle, and then, you know, so many times women are so desperate to be in that relationship because we're conditioned to feel like we're not at our 100% because we don't have that man or that woman or whatever your
Let me ask you a
preference
question.
is.
When she just said that, if you suspect that one of your coworkers is being abused, how do you approach it? Help her, because you want to be there to help them.
See, it's
right?
tricky in the work.
Yeah, because you're there because you are. Mind your business. You know,
If it was a friend of mine,
yeah,
that's something different. Yeah.
I don't care. I've done it recently. The young lady continued to come to the office with sunglasses on. When I put it aside, I said, what's going on? She husband beat me. And she was like, no, why don't you say that? I said, you got shades on, and it's not like I can't see the bruise coming from the outside. No, that's not. I can sit down and talk further about this. And it took about a good 30 minutes before she was willing to be open to get some counseling. Because my goal wasn't to get her to leave her husband.
Right.
Let's just get some help. I'm not a professional in here. I can just share my story and then help you get some help. And she was willing to get some help. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely. I'm not a person that
not
would
say anything, or you say something?
I would have to, like, being in the field I'm in, being a manager, you have to be careful. So if I felt like I could say to Erica, hey Erica, you know, we cool enough, you know, even on that level, and I'm like, you know, anything going on with some, yeah, because I can't sit by and watch. Like, that's just not my personality.
It's a fine line.
Yeah, but you just have to be careful, especially if it's the workplace. Even with the family member, you know, it's like, they'll sit there, yeah, he beat me, blah, 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 but the minute you try to intervene, it's just like, mind your business. Yeah. Even if it wasn't abuse going on, they like flip on you so much that you're so hesitant to, you know, so you really have to know.
But it's the flip thing, Melissa, like when now the women is beating on the men. But you go back behind that camera, look him in his eye, and tell him what you done to me, and what you gonna do right now. I'm gonna have my sign. I want you to do it to him.
But I think that's
if he don't like it,
time.
beat it. You beat me. I swear y'all don't watch Cover from the Phone. 100 times.
It is leg on lately.
And it was just 14. And we know we watched it. So Harpo was whooping that. She said, ooh, and
But do you think that's something that's new?
he was scared.
Do you think that's
No,
something
they've been
new?
beating them for a long time. But women now are, it's hard, even as a police officer, you go into the city of Philadelphia, you go into some of these houses, Broomhilda done whooped up on Henry looking bad, he in the corner, you got the rest of the woman, be like, you let this man, and then you gotta take him away. But now, women done switched the script on them, we beating up on the men. You gotta
But I don't think that's nothing new. I just think
it's just
men,
starting to come out.
men are,
No.
because I remember my grandfather trying to swallow, but my grandmom, she was like, what? He was down the steps.
Wow!
Yeah.
Yes, man.
I come home drunk like shit, and they
Don't get
died
comfortable.
being married. But that's what happened.
No, absolutely not. See,
You got to
see what it is. The
Would
problem
you tell
is,
your grandmother?
absolutely. Hold, wait a minute. First of all,
Look at, wait a minute, the next show is
Oh,
how to
God.
get a house in 2 hours.
So if I see you all lumped up,
Go ahead,
will you tell me
go ahead,
what's
go
going on?
I used to beat up grown men for a living.
I didn't ask you all.
my
Yeah,
wife,
about that.
my wife beating on me
She
would never
watching
happen.
this.
Well, never say never.
Exactly.
It would never happen.
Never
First
say
of all,
Why?
why? Because I don't believe in
Hitting me.
right.
But
She
she
may
don't
believe
believe
However-
in hitting you.
She might
However,
decide she wanna hit you.
however, at the same time, I would never allow a situation in my household to get to that point.
Right.
Because there's always a way to talk about it. Even if we can't talk now,
We talk later.
we talk later.
She might want to
But
talk
we'll
with
talk.
Brian.
No, because we never go that route.
No, I
You know,
get what you're saying.
eventually, we're going to talk about it.
Right.
If there's a problem, you have to talk about it. I don't believe that you can just brush it under the carpet and just say, you know what, it's going to go away, because the problem never goes away, because something else will come up that will eventually trigger that and bring that problem right back. So now you got this problem and this problem. If you don't address it, it never goes away.
So you're an exception to the rule, because most men out here now, you hear some of those men say that as a joke it may be, but real life it is what it is. When they say, yeah, you see the dykes with the flip-flops on and the long basketball shorts, and she out there beating the dude up. As soon as they go to court, she got on a sundress, flip-flops, this weed, right? Now the guy like Yana, I punched the dude. Now she done took the bra,
That's like the
sports
girl-
bra and
The
everything
Southern
else.
driver that punched her, it was all over Facebook.
Right.
When she was doing all that cussing, she was tough.
She was a girl.
When he sucker punched her.
Right on the
In
butt.
the interview, she was like,
You gonna learn today.
Yes, he sure
Right.
is.
she's so innocent and sweet.
And when she showed up in court, she was a woman.
Is there
But
ever
you
an
still
excuse to
understand.
hit a woman? Or
I don't say
to abuse your partner? Let's put it
I
that
say
way.
What is the
Ever
difference
your
between
partner?
hit and abuse?
Yeah.
Abuse, we can see it as an
If
ongoing
you
thing.
hit me,
Hit one
you're
time.
abusing me. That's just me.
Okay. But
One hit, one
hit,
slap is abuse. I don't care.
One
I'm
hit.
not taking it downgrading it to, oh, he slapped me. You abuse me and we got to
Call the cops.
Exactly.
Who you calling? I'm calling the police. And on that note, we going to commercial break. I got to call 911. I'll be back.
sleeping, sneaking, wherever you are.
Welcome back to Sador Presents Open Conversation. This topic today we're ready to talk about, we're going to talk about how single men raise females, their daughters, and how single women raise their sons. So it's a little flip-flop on what we're going on. Basic idea is single parent of the opposite sex, because we do know that there are some challenges that females present when coming to her daddy, 13 years old, now that menstrual cycle started. You as a father, how do you react? Do you run to grandma? Do you freak out? Do you go on the internet and start reading all the information? Those are the questions we want to ask. We're still here with Philly Housewives. Some of us stopped off, and we got a special guest. Who?
My man. Let's go. We gonna get it.
He is so happy he got a man on the table. Did you see that? He's so happy it's another man on the show. He just don't even know how to act.
Well, listen.
Turn it up, man.
Now turn it up. We gonna start with you two.
Them two?
Them two.
Them two.
Well, I can speak for experience of raising.
Tell people who you are.
Oh, Yakisha. Hey, everybody.
You from?
From Philly.
Housewife.
Housewives of Philly.
She knows shit.
She was here early.
What's that?
She never left.
She never go. He never go.
But from my experience is, for 17 years, I've raised my son. He's 17. His dad was killed 16 years ago. So when he was 1 year old, he knew his dad, but didn't get a chance to really know him. Like, it's not like he was 7 or 8 and you knew his dad. Like, he got killed when he was 16, and I think at the age of 11, he had a lot of questions. And that's when they started, like, it's like an attack. I was telling him bits and pieces about his dad, and he'd go to his side of the family, and they'd tell him bits and pieces or what he wanted to hear, but he wanted to hear everything from me because I was the one with him when everything happened. And I was just like, oh, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready. Sometimes you have to prepare yourself mentally because it throws you back. It's like you rewinding your life back instead of going forward. And I was like, I knew this time was going to come, and just raising him was it was a tough experience, a very tough experience, because I have 2 girls, and he's the only male in the house.
What was difficult about it? Like, what were some of your obstacles?
Trying to get him not to be in the street like his dad was, and his uncles and everybody else was. And I think that the easy part was, try to mold him into what I wanted him to be, but he has his own personality of who he was already going to be anyway. And I think I did a great job for 17 years. I can pat myself on the back 25,000 times, but at the same time, he's still going to do what young men out here do because he recognizes it and he sees it, but it's something that you can't really prevent or you can't stop. I had to tell him sometimes you have to know on your own. And once the questions started coming, to me wanting to know what it was like, it didn't matter what his dad did. I want to be just like my dad. I want to be just like my dad. I said, I always tell him, I said, no, you don't want to be just like your dad. You want to be better than your dad. So he got the hint, and when he started seeing things for what they was out there in the street, he was just like, Mom, I can't do that. He's like, Mom, I really appreciate you. Like, thank you, seriously, like, And I was like, you're welcome. It's hard because he looked at it like a lot of people thought I spoiled him because he was the only boy, and I had 2 girls, but you gotta look at it. I didn't spoil him. On the other hand, my other 2 girls had fathers that's in their life. 24 hours a day, whenever they need him, they call, he's there. And it's like having that part stripped from him, as being his dad stripped from him, was like a big wear and tear, not only on me, but to him. So at the same time, it's like, it's a struggle, just that part. And I think that I'm more appreciative of having him as my son and did what I did for him and don't regret anything. Because he learned, and I told him as you get older, you learn some things you gotta learn yourself. I can't really teach you, but you're gonna have to take some calls. You have to call before you walk.
What about you, Nafisa?
So I got 2 boys, 8 and soon to be 21. Yeah, 21-year-old baby, a young grandma.
What's that?
The what? How you get? You had a 21. Did you know about it at the 13 years? Let me do this again.
Finished.
Yeah.
She was done.
Yeah.
Well,
Respect them.
my oldest daughter is 19. My youngest is
That's what
7.
it was. I wanted that girl. So
went back in that door.
Yeah.
So you got 2 boys and that's it.
Boys, yep, and that's it.
So has it been a challenge raising?
Yes. Like Keisha was saying, my biggest struggle was showing them that there is something greater in the city of Philadelphia other than selling drugs or robbing people. Teaching them that education is key and helping them understand that nothing in life worth having comes fast. It's so hard when you got the world telling them the complete opposite. One of the things I enjoy about me and my son's relationship is when I had my son, I was 14. And so we kind of grew up together. And so he's always been able to come to me and share with me stuff that most kids hide, and even myself, hide from their parents. I remember the first time he told me that he was ready to have sex. I was like, okay, do you know where and who? And he was like, yeah, I just, want you to know. I was like, it's not here, right? So,
Cinemax after 12, they teach them everything.
how to use a condom and
So now, well,
Well,
dark child.
I as a single parent, it's hard raising boys. I got 9 foster kids I've raised. 8 of them are boys. Conversation in my household was very open. Yeah, I want to know. Some people say you were too. So I took my kids to get their first tattoos. Yeah, because I would much rather you get it from a professional in the store where I'm watching and he was clean than somebody else's basement, which one of them did. And you put a capital R in the middle of a name. Now, we know the difference between what a capital letter look like and a lowercase letter. So now you got in the name, first letter was the capital letter, right? He waited till 4 letters in to put a capital letter. And I had to straighten that up because I was being rude. But when it came to their bodies and trying to, I was very extremely open. And if there was a hump that I hit, go talk to my brother. Because sometimes you just need to hear it from a man. He wanted to know some things that I wasn't willing. Well, which hole did you hit? Look, I don't want to know. I don't want to talk about that.
You're going to strike gold somewhere.
Oh, Jesus. So you, raised by a single parent?
Me, I don't have any kids. However, I was fortunate enough to be raised by my mother, a single mother, and what it taught me, being in a house with 3 women, I've also learned to empathize with the women's emotions, just being around that all day. I understand that it's a lot of mood swings, it's the time of the months, and it's, they're messy as ever, but I learned how to empathize with, a woman's emotions by being around them all day. But I was also fortunate to have 3 older brothers that also allowed me to become a man's man and not emotional, feminine, guy. But my mom did teach me that it is okay as a man to express myself, rather than be closed down and not able to thoroughly express how I feel.
And how to treat women.
And how to treat women. And the best thing I can say is it kind of hit me to a lot of things. And I do that with my nieces now. Being so I'm not raising them, but my niece lost her. One of my nieces lost her mother at a young age. She may have been born at the time, and her father is like, that's another story. But I had a hand in raising my niece. I'm able to hit her to a lot of the game stuff that guys play, a lot of things like that. So there is some good and bad, pros and cons with being a single parent raising the opposite sex. Just as it is pros and cons of everything. So I took all the good from it and left the bad, for my sister and all that.
I don't know, for me, I don't have children. I do have a niece and nephew, but I think about my relationship with my dad. My mom wasn't in my life. And my dad taught me so much about the way men think. That's probably why I think like that. Things like that. Because like you, he was open with me to a point. He just, he would take me fishing, and he taught me things that, if my mom was there, I probably wouldn't have had that time with him, or he may have not been focused on that, And I grew up with my grandparents, his parents taking care of me, but he instilled in me some things that I use to this day that are valuable that my mom couldn't have given me, because he gave me that male perceptions on things, you know, and I seen the struggles he went through with, like, raising, I'm his only child, you know, and I'm a girl, you know, and you know, he knew the boys were coming, so, you know, he went through his obstacles. I mean, it was hard, but he had support, you know, but he made sure he taught me things that I probably wouldn't have never learned, and then helped mold me, exactly.
Melissa got kids. She got kids. She just raising her kids. Could you imagine yourself trying to raise your kids by yourself? It would be hard. But even this, when dad's off to work and you got the kids at home, that's that moment you think, how could you do this by yourself? I know I do. When my brothers leave their kids with me at times, and I think, yo, this is hard. How did they do it? Or even when you got your kids all day and he's gone somewhere, and you need that mental moment to step off. Like, don't you ever think, man, this would be really hard? Just that mental moment that you need. He's off, he's doing what you're doing. It's just a Saturday. Kids got up at 8 o'clock. It's now 4 o'clock in the afternoon. None of them took a nap. Then you run around the house. You haven't been able to wash the dishes. You haven't been able to put clothes in the laundry. Like, that's that moment where you get to think, wow.
Oh, I would never wish to be a single mother.
Right, because you do this by yourself. Like, it's not even just the thought that runs through your head. We all have those fantasy moments. You just think, hey, I can do this by myself all day. I mean, I can't even think. I can go upstairs. You can't go to his room,
So,
close the door.
What are some of the challenges that you face with a young, because you have a little boy that's just turned 1, correct? So what are some of the challenges that you face having a little boy that you didn't face
Getting him to
with your
smile.
daughter?
Mean mugging.
Get
it from his dad.
I don't know yet. I mean, nothing yet.
Nothing
I
yet?
guess potty training is probably.
So what if he come to you and be asking you, ooh, something came out? The little hole.
What's up with that? Why is it?
Oh, you supposed to jump on that?
Yeah.
What if he feels more comfortable talking to you than talking to his dad? Now what? Now he want to know why he was sleeping and woke up and was wet instead of dry.
Yeah, I'm not going to give him a
Well,
All right. Well, we have had a wonderful day today. The taping was great. We got on our after Labor Day white, but we're good. We want to thank the housewives and all the special guests for coming out and spending their day and our time with us. So tell us, when can we see? Tell us, where can we tune in? If you got a fan club, just tell us a little bit.
Yeah, you can find out everything on Facebook. It's Housewives of Philadelphia, The Realness on Facebook. You can go on there. We have RH. We're also on Instagram. It's also Real Housewives of Philly. Just the initials. RHWP. On Instagram, you can just follow.
Okay.
And then find out all the, we keep all the updates, everything that's going on, what we're doing, who you're going to be, where you come in, casting calls, and photo shoots and all that stuff.
Right, this is what a black man, right on the TV.
Real Housewives of Philly. Y'all better tune in. These women is bringing it.
They about to turn it up, man.
We're going to show them some love. They going to turn it up, man. This ain't Atlanta. This ain't New York. This ain't Dallas. Who the hell lives in Dallas? Anyway, this ain't Dallas. Ain't no Real Housewives of Dallas. We doing it big right here in the city of Philadelphia. I'm about to look it up right now.
This is Open Conversation. Sador presents Open Conversation.
Blow they jack up, because I know some of y'all housewives out there.
See the address below.
That
hit us up. We on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. We are Open Conversation. And don't forget, breast cancer awareness.
It depends. If I'm in a real raunchy mood, like somebody pissed me off and I want to get with them, I put Tupac on. You know what I mean? You can't write put it on in a minute. What's the one? Hit 'em up. Yeah, put it on in a minute. And then you better watch out.
Here we are, back together again. It's time to talk about the issues at hand. You say what you say, say what you say. Just say what you feel. It's the door, and we're gonna keep it real.